While I find myself sharing words in this chapel space before, I've shared words just recently, last week. We welcomed our students in for orientation. It's been over a decade since I was the chapel speaker. The last time I stood in this space, I was a third year, Tyra, like you. And what a delight. I thank our Dean Walker, for the opportunity and privilege. This space is such a sacred gift. And a lot of times we don't realize it until we've departed this space. But it's not lost on me how much of a gift it is to stand, to be in community with you, and to share with you in this way. MDiv will always be a special place for me as an alum. It's also where I met my boo. He said his name isn't listed in the biography, but know that when there is me, there's also him right alongside me, partnering in this thing called life as well as ministry. And so I'm grateful for his presence here this morning. Behave, JT. Come on, y'all. I don't know why we put them together, right? Right. Oh, it's Dr. Sampson, too. I know. They're here. They're in the building. One of the things that are most important, I believe, around ministerial presence is the ability to read the room. The ability to know where you are and who you're with in a room. And so what I know this morning is that this room is full of those who have been called to serve, whether it's ministry, whether it's churches, whether it's organizations. We have been called to serve. And with this understanding in mind, I know that most of us have either officiated a wedding or stood beside a friend or a family member as they took their sacred vows, or sat in the pews or the chairs as a beloved guest. And in your sitting and standing, I am certain that on more than one occasion you have heard these words: I blank take you blank to have and to hold from this day forward, for better or for worse, for richer or for poor, in sickness and in health, to love and to cherish, till death do us part. To have, meaning to claim, belonging, choosing, to hold, to sustain, to protect, to be a steady presence, to uphold and to hold in this thing called life. I have your back, you got mine. And I don't just have you, but I also want you to know that I got you. But faith in religion and the public square has had its way historically with this institution called marriage. Who can be married? Who can one be married to? And what should have been an easy question to answer, who deserves it, who's worthy of it, everyone. What should have been an easy truth to accept has turned into this commodity, this situation where faithful partnership has been turned into a tool that is weaponized, idolatized, and capitalized. Vows exchanged at altars have become contracts of commerce, which should be the foundation of faithful partnership backed by sacred vows has been reduced to a $70 million wedding industry that values costly ceremonies and curated receptions. But at a rate more far than we actually notice or take note of, humanity is not just marrying people. I'm going to say that again. Humanity is not just marrying people. Humanity is also marrying things. We don't just bind ourselves to people. We bind ourselves to institutions. We bind ourselves to systems. We bind ourselves to beliefs, to ideas, to practices. We bind ourselves to callings and traumas and power and strategies for survival and organizations and doctrines and denominations and ideologies. Interest becomes involvement and involvement becomes investment. We tether ourselves to communities that demand everything from us, but give us little in return. Oh, some of us, by way of our hue and our histories, have been forced into covenants that we did not choose. Womanist theologian Dolores Williams reminds us that Black women's bodies, and by extension, Black bodies in general, have been historically bound to systems that demand endurance over delight, that value work over worth, that value surviving over thriving, strength over rest, respectability over mere respect, being needed instead of being loved. Bell Hooks too reminds us that systems of domination work not by the force of overt coercion alone, but by shaping our attachment. The things we're bound to, the things we value, the things we pursue, the things we trust, the things we hold. To be human, she writes, is to be in relation, and our systems teach us the wrong relations. And so we make vows. We make vows to systems that promise order over continuity. Systems that extract quietly our labor and our loyalty and silence in the name of stability. But the danger is not the covenant itself. The danger is our sanctification of the structures. We call it admirable. We call it honorable. We call it faithfulness, while the people inside are collapsing. And so here it is, you heard the text in the reading of Isaiah chapter 42. It reminds us that God's servant does not enter power like institutions do. God's servant is not loud. God's servant is not performative or sustained by ceremony. Institutions survive by demanding endurance. How long and how far we can go. Institutions are built by silence and sacrifice. But the servant of the Lord brings justice without crushing the weary. And so here we are. We attend inaugurations and swearing in ceremonies and installations and maybe even graduation ceremonies that take place inside of systems that have the tendency to swallow us up. We step in. We step in and we watch. Or we step in and we participate, taking on these roles with vows that we barely understand. We watch humans. They bind themselves to making pledges and commitments and promises and sacrifices to things that cannot hold them. We applaud the moment. We take the picture. We celebrate. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that gets us in a tricky position is that the oath is public. But the cost, the ordination, the installations, the swearing-ins, the inaugurations, the ceremonies, they're public. But the cost is private. It's the kind of covenants that demands everything but delights in absolutely nothing. And so here it is in Isaiah 42. It has a way of pulling back the curtain for us to see what faith can actually look like in a fractured world. This servant song, it illuminates, it makes plain, it makes clear a new way of being for us all. A new way of being for us as preachers, a new way of being for us as teachers, as ministers, as leaders, as students, as servants, as administrators. Because what I know is that we know what it means to hold. We hold our families. We hold our communities. We hold our institutions. We hold our organizations, our churches, our departments. We even hold ourselves together. And what I also know is that there's this temptation, especially for those of us that have been shaped by histories of survival, to believe that holding everything together is just the price of being called. That holding everything together, all of it, we've just chalked it up to just being the cost, the price, the tag for what it means to be called. And those systems and institutions and social political complexities abound in this text. I do believe that this lectionary text paints a new possibility. One where we aren't holding, but one instead that of those who are called to serve are instead being held. Isaiah is not describing in chapter 42, not describing a servant that is being had or held by a system. Isaiah is not describing a servant that has been held by an institution or a promotion or a title or a new role. Isaiah is sharing with us in this text that God makes a vow to have and to hold those who have been called to serve. It's a vow that is strong enough to keep this servant, but gentle enough to delight in this servant. It's a vow that has a way of forcing us to begin to ask ourselves this question. Maybe the question is not what are we willing to have and to hold, but what are we allowing to have and to hold us? What are we allowing? What are we allowing to keep us, to hold us, to what are we expecting of these systems and these structures and these persons? What is our expectation? Who indeed have we put our trust in? And then I ask the question, what would it look like for us to divorce our devotion to fractured places we have trusted to hold us? What would it look like? What would it look like for us to divorce our devotion to the fractured places that we have trusted to hold us? What would it look like? Can we even imagine? What would it look like for us to loosen the grip on the vows we have made to survive? What would it look like for us to loosen the vows we have made to be strong and to be needed and to push through and to fight through what? What would it look like? What would it look like for us to unbind and untie ourselves from covenants that demand everything from us but delight in absolutely nothing about us? Perhaps unbinding can look like resting without first proving that you deserve it in the first place. Maybe unbinding can look like telling the truth, even when it costs you proximity to power. Maybe unbinding can look like letting something remain unfinished and trusting God to hold what's left. Or maybe unbinding can look like no longer rescuing people who benefit from your depletion. Maybe unbinding can look like honoring the wisdom of those harmed instead of protecting the reputation of those who are in charge. Maybe unbinding can look like allowing disappointment without rushing to spiritualize it. Maybe unbinding. Maybe it can look like serving with boundaries and not calling it selfish. Maybe unbinding can look like leaving this season without needing someone to give you permission to exit. Maybe unbinding can look like refusing to call exploitation opportunity just because it comes with access. And maybe unbinding. Maybe it can look like letting go of silence that kept the peace but cost you your breath. Maybe unbinding. Maybe unbinding can look like being needed less but being loved more. Maybe unbinding. Maybe unbinding can look like us not allowing ourselves to be cradled by things that are fractured. Maybe unbinding can look like receiving help without asking. Maybe it looks like we should bind ourselves to things that allow us to pursue compassion and justice and reconciliation. Binding ourselves can look like trusting God to hold us, even when we stop holding everything together. I encourage us, my friends, this morning, that as we consider the things that have us, and as we consider the things that hold us, and as we consider the places, the gray areas where it doesn't seem to be clear, I invite us to interrogate. I invite us to investigate. And I invite us to allow ourselves to be binded by the one whose spirit still rests, whose spirit still breathes, whose spirit still sustains, the one who has promised us over and over and over and over and over and over again that we are had and we are held. And we have to learn how to let that be enough.